in the right observer interface, then if you click QQQ in the little drop-down menu and then click player camera, it will follow their camera position. But I don't want it to do
Oh,
that
where it says
right now.
everyone?
Yeah, where it says everyone. That's actually a drop-down menu. So I'm going to
Got
go
it.
ahead
Yeah,
and
I see
say
that.
the red team ships. We have I think Luigi is maybe going side lane Overlord. Wash is going range rocket in the mid. QQQ going one plating
Oh, I
two
can follow
gats.
your view. That's cool.
Oh, interesting. Uh, two gats with the HP up as a dread. Wash is going range rock. Oh wait, did I already say that? They're all moving around so much.
So I'm
And then
watching what you're watching, so just show me whatever you want.
sure. And then Shads is going range missile as a BC. And then in the other side lane, we have War Alistair going 5 ints. And then do you
Now
actually
you're
want
hovering your mouse over them to see what they're going
to... I click the
by
ship.
looking at their attributes.
I just click the ship and then it shows you pretty much everything you need to know. You can also click the upgrades tab, but
Got
there's
it.
like so much information there, it's kind of overwhelming.
Okay.
But you do want to click the upgrades tab when in this interface just to see if like a Raven has gone radar or stuff like that. But most of the time the Raven has picked up radar by like the first or second back. So, oh wow,
So you're
Luigi
kind
is
of looking
getting
at
beat
that
up.
Leviathan right now, right?
Yes, I'm looking at the Leviathan and looking at Luigi as well because I was like, can Loco kill Luigi right here? Okay, so we got Loco and the blue team going uh, 4 tint Leviathan. Rarnuke's going kind of a farm open range frigate. Fast forward going range missile. Sarah going imp, of course. Moby going 4-3 Colossus, and Curtis going 5 Gat Dread. So it's L
Okay.
versus O in the top lane. And I was going L versus O just a few games ago in the sort of not IH, and it felt rough. And that's what I'm seeing right now is that Luigi is getting beat up by Loco, and he might actually dive all the way
Leviathan
here.
versus Overlord.
Yeah, it could be a frustrating matchup for the Overlord. He's down to 2,000. I don't know if Loco gets his tints on him and can stay on, but yeah, okay, here we go. Wash is coming up.
He's
Shads is
about to
coming up.
die.
They're going to push him back. That almost was dangerous for Loco too, but losing Luigi
But
on
he
the
pulled
side
off the
lane.
middle push, and now the middle push is winning.
Yeah. So because Luigi was losing the side lane so hard, that kind of pushed their entire team back, which is going to lead to a. Right now it's a 100 farm lead, but it's going to be a 200 farm lead before they go back. At least I think.
That at the top.
Yes. So if you
734 to 893.
right, yes. So this is information I probably should indicate. So if you look at the top of the screen, there is a 764 to 920, and that is indicating the total farm for both teams. And you can also see basically the breakdown of individual ships along the right where it says score. That's just indicating how much money the ship has gotten overall.
Right.
In this interface, if you click resources, you can see how much money
That's
individual
like
ships have on hand.
the only thing that used to be in Star Battle when I used to play.
Oh yeah.
Was that screen on the right. A lot of this other stuff's new.
So
And
actually,
I gotta learn my key combos for everything.
yeah, I still struggle with
For
the
all
key
my
combos.
upgrades and shit.
So Kraken is a well-fed Colossus. He's going back with 700, which, I mean, being a well-fed Colossus is always a lot more fun than being a totally broke Colossus, which is...
Moby Dick, you mean?
Yeah, he's Kraken on EU, and he's Moby Dick
Oh,
here.
okay.
But he makes it look like it's mobbed by Dick.
So I've never actually used a Colossus. What's its strength and weaknesses? Lots of shields.
Yeah, so the
Some
Colossus...
escorts, which are little farming things.
Yeah, it's just OBFs, onboard fighters.
It's like a drone boat.
No, most people don't do much with the OBFs other than just farm a little bit with them. Generally, if you're in a pub game, you try to keep them at least on 2-shot just so that you can farm with them well. But in most games, it's really just all about the shields, because the Colossus is one of the is a Protoss
It's a
tank.
tank.
Yeah, and so as a Protoss tank, Protoss ships get armor on the shields, which Terran ships do not. So the idea of the Colossus is that he can get armor on the shields, which then, in conjunction with like an
Armor
arbiter,
on the shields, meaning the shields themselves are affected by your armor rating.
if you hover over the where it says 6 shield upgrades, you can see the armor of the shield is 13,
Oh, interesting.
and so it's like obviously that's less than like Curtis, who has 20 armor on his plating, but the difference between armor and plating is how it can be restored. So like if an Arbiter has shield regen, you can regenerate the shields of the Colossus, which then is kind of, more effective to regenerate those shields than it is to regenerate a Terran ship's shields, because the Colossus shields will be taking less damage.
I always felt like the carrier is one of my strong ships too, and just go for like max fighter damage.
Yeah, I mean, War here has
Or
11
lasers,
ints
actually,
and scouts at level 4 with warp-in. So that's nice. So we can launch, basically just suicide the scouts and the interceptors and then warp in another pack and, help deal with the farm
They
disadvantage
didn't
they're
have
facing right
scouts
now.
back in my day.
Are you sure? Because I think they've had scouts
Scouts
a
were
really
like on
long
a different
time.
class of ship. Or you could only have 3 scouts, and they were long range, and they lasted for a really long time.
Yes, they were very different. You could, like, hide them in the corner.
You
And
could
then,
get them really powerful, and then really murder somebody with them if you did it right.
Yes, and they're still like that. They can still really murder people.
You could like sneak them around the back and go farm inside somebody's base with them.
Yes, that they did. That was changed in the change from 2.0 to 3.0, or maybe even before then. Oh, there's a
You could also do that with corruptors.
yeah. That was super. That was a whole popular Leviathan build, and now the
Yeah,
corruptors
I was
have
a super badass Leviathan dude because I just get a fuck ton of energy and really powerful corruptors, and people couldn't do shit about it.
yeah.
You
You
defend your base, put a big wall of them in between the 2 towers, and they would for you.
and yeah, they kind of forced the Leviathan to go it's the pure meaty.
The
Build.
brawler, yeah.
Yeah, now he's just a bruiser, and he can't be this like siege Leviathan, this completely alternate
At least it can
playstyle.
continually upgrade, though. That's what I love about it.
Yep.
You can upgrade as it's in the field, obviously. You knew that, though.
And so obviously, like, corruptors are a lot weaker on the guard because you don't have constant mutation. And without that, it was really the constant mutation corruptor combination that made them so strong. Just having
It's the guard again.
the Guardian is not in this game at all, or is not in this match right now at all.
Right, it's that other Zerg ship, right?
Yes, there's 2
That
other
was like
Zergs.
brand new invention right when I first started. And it could only shoot forward. Is it still the same?
Yeah, that's still the same. I mean, that's like the Dreadnought too.
And I remember there was no frigate back in the day.
Oh yeah, the Frigate and the Overlord were the 2 ships added with 3.0.
I've never used a frigate before. I have no idea what it can do.
It
It looks fast.
It's the missile boat that was ever a missile boat.
Okay.
So if you look at Washburn,
Looks like a battlecruiser, just missiles, no lasers.
well, yeah, I mean, no,
Faster.
he has lasers for farming, but all the damage output is from rockets, and so whereas the battlecruiser, it has basically the same missile count, and so when you click on a BC and see, okay, Shad's rockets or missiles deal 88 damage each, and he has 7 attacks, and so that means each volley is shooting 7 missiles, and he has 9 range. So that
Right.
seems pretty good, and it's actually pretty close to the frigate, where if we click, Rar nukes here. If we click Rar
Here's
nukes,
a question. Why did that battlecruiser just use scan? I don't see anybody cloaky.
Oh, so with fast forward, you're talking about? Fast forward would be using scan right here when the enemy team has gone back into their base, because it reveals their position on the minimap. So what he's doing there is he's making
Okay.
sure they're not going to try to warp trick his
Got
team.
it. Okay, cool. So you can sort of tell when they're coming back by using the scan.
Yeah, I still haven't really figured out why so many people do that when you can just have a Raven getting radar, but it's very common to have that scan. Anyway,
I mean, I got it last round because they told me to, but I feel like it was kind of a waste.
No,
I should've
what
just
what
done
they
what I
do
always
is
used to do and go
they
straight
have you
for
get it,
nuke
and
nuke
that way,
somebody.
whenever they push out, right? Because you guys were down on farm a lot. If they warp
Right.
tricked you when you were down on farm like that, you were gonna get wrecked. So you basically, it's a way of making sure you do not get warp tricked when you are
Right.
pushing out and trying to farm.
I had the money for nuke, and I feel like I could have killed somebody with it if I had gotten it.
Yeah, I think, but they had a lot of denial, right? Like you felt like you couldn't even get lockdowns off. So the problem
Well,
with
right when I came out of the base, I had a full. I could have probably used nuke.
maybe
Does the base regen cap, by the way? Capacitor? Energy?
the base regenerates just HP, or I actually should double check this, but I'm 90% sure.
Regenerate shield or not?
It regenerates HP, which lets you then regenerate shield. I
But it
think-
doesn't actually give you shield. It used to.
No, it does
So
not.
if you want to be a base tanker, you have to have armor. If you want to defend if you're down to the very end, you want lots of armor, right? And you're losing, I mean.
I mean,
Like when I was a
if you're
battlecruiser and I was alive and like only 3 of us were alive and they were shooting our base.
I
There's
mean, in
probably
that
nothing I
situation,
could
you're
do,
just
but-
lost. Like, it doesn't matter what you get, you're gonna lose.
Right.
Um,
But the base will rep your armor, not your shield. So if you get armor, then it can actually save you.
well, yeah, but it comes and goes, right? Because if you get up to 10 shields in this version, then your shields will regenerate in combat, which can be really important too. So
Oh, interesting.
I think the most important
Has
thing
to
is
be
to
10?
just not let them push you back all the way into your base. But I mean, basically, that last game with you was kind of over when your side lane, when
The one guy
fast
died.
forward ate the nuke, and I mean, it was just
Right at the
a
beginning.
well-directioned nuke based on the positioning, and
And they got nuke really early, and I wasn't allowed to.
well, because
like if I had gotten it as
yeah,
the first,
well,
maybe
they got
things
fusion
would've gone
torpedo,
different.
which is a different spell. So the thing about fusion torpedo is that it's easier to land, even if there's denial, because
Is that
it
on
has
the frigate?
Yeah, on the frigate. So let's go back to the frigate. Roar Nukes has 10 rockets, so he's dealing 130 per rocket. He has 9 volleys. But the thing to look at is on his command card, you can also see he has quick reload and rip brave warheads. So not only is he doing the 130 damage per rocket and 9 attacks, which is like 1,000 damage a volley at 10 range, but whenever he fires, he can also hit quick reload. And so his rockets
And
usually have...
you can use the whip brave warheads to farm, right?
Well, no, well, sort of. The Ripwave warheads do AoE damage, so you can use it to hit their
Right.
entire enemy team if they're all on a ball, kind of like right now. Or you could also use it to destroy the ships that are around. Oh, wow, Rara is taking some damage here.
I remember some of the most powerful people I used to remember would use the Raven and farm with EMP.
Oh, that's cool. I don't think EMT can kill ships right now, but like the Arbiter still can't.
EMP kills the shit out of little farming things, though.
Well, actually, right now I don't think.
At least it used to.
Yeah, I think they changed a little bit. The Phoenix right now does not have shields. So it would not be helpful to EMP Phoenixes in the current build right now.
Are all the blue things clicks? People clicking all over the place?
Yes, all those little things, because we're on everyone mode right now. I
Okay,
probably
cool.
should have changed.
Sorry for like the bajillion questions.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I
Like,
mean, there's like
super
questions about
rusty at this,
observer
and I wanna
interface,
be
and
good
I'm
at it.
so it's like, yeah, Wash does not have fusion, and Rar Nukes does not have fusion, so...
I'm playing at 4K, by the way. So if I ever get good and you need a recording of 4K,
Cool.
looks really nice. Although the interface seems like it's a little large, the bottom.
Yeah, you know, I was
Like
actually
all the
going to
boxes and
suggest maybe changing the interface, because
It used to be seem smaller, I think.
Well, there's actually a way, I've seen in black and white, there's a way to get rid of this, the big black stuff around the, where, you know, there's the frigate, and that has
Right,
information.
Raven at the. Yeah, exactly.
And you can actually get rid of all that black stuff and continue to show screen down there. And I might suggest that to Schloss when I am bothered to remember. Which actually is really helpful, because, I mean, just having more screen size that you can click on is really important.
Right, exactly. Because I estimate, I don't know, 20% of the screen, the bottom of the screen is all interface.
Yep. Which in a MOBA is just more than you
There
want.
also never used to be all these huge rock islands that you get caught on.
Oh yeah, that was also added in 3.0.
It keeps throwing me off because I wasn't used to seeing them. Then I run into them and I stop and somebody kills me.
Yep. And so yeah, if you look at Moby Dick or Kraken, you can see he has 12 shields now, and so he has 19.5 armor on his shields. He also picked up Hardened Shield, so he can activate Hardened Shield, and then the damage of the next 62 incoming attacks is reduced to only 50 damage. So when you have Washburn sending out these 109 damage rockets, it's actually, if those are the only thing hitting him when he has Hardened Shield up, it's cutting his damage in half.
And he's using that afterburner all the time too.
Yeah,
How's he
he
going
was just
backwards like
drifting
that?
backward with Afterburner. That was kind of funny
What the
looking,
fuck?
actually.
This looks like a good game. Nobody's died yet? Kind of wish last game we hadn't lost the guy so early.
No, yeah, but I feel like
I wasn't doing much to help us though.
there were a lot of curious things going on last game. I think that was because Luigi is still
The
kind of getting.
noobs. The noobs are stacked heavier on my team.
No, that's not actually true. It was that
Really?
Eclipse is coming back into the game, right? So there's a lot of players who are coming back to Star Battle.
Because it's new again, right? It's like kind of back. It disappeared for a long time.
Yeah, it was basically gone for a few months. It was broken after 3.0 entirely, and so now there's players who basically stopped playing after the 3.0 patch or even before, when Zedu disappeared. That are now
I
kind of
stopped
coming
playing
back
when
around.
Heart of the Swarm came out because it broke it for me.
Yep, every time a new big version is released, it's going to break a lot of arcade maps, and then it just
I
requires
mean, it didn't break it, but in order to continue to play the new version,
Mhm.
I had to have Heart of the Swarm.
But you should have gotten Heart of the Storm. That
Blizzard
was it was so
essentially
much
broke it
better
for me.
than Wings of Liberty in terms of missions. I don't know.
Really? I played Wings of Liberty so many times. I loved it.
But well,
But
why wouldn't you
I
get
just
Heart of the Storm
didn't-
then?
I was also a stay-at-home dad for those couple years. Couldn't
Oh,
really
I
afford
see,
the
yeah.
$60. And I ended up, hey, we're gonna kill that battlecruiser.
Shads is toast.
When I say we, I mean the blue team.
Yeah, now you identify with the blue team forever.
For some reason, I was just following the blue team around, like rooting for them.
And here I
Because of
think
that,
I think
what's
I've been
good about
slightly
it, because of that
preferring the red
Colossus.
team, and I can't say there's any sort of rational decision for that. It's just
I've just been following the Colossus around. That looks like it might be a good class for me to run.
yeah, Colossus I
Just
think
get
is
like
one
a
of
ton
the
of shields and
yeah.
a bunch of lasers.
Big fat tank is definitely kind of an easier to learn
You can
role.
get farm. You just farm and some speed, right?
Yeah,
I can't see what his speed is.
his speed is 1.7 right now.
Where do you see the speed? You hover over the
Armor.
hull?
You
There it is,
armor over the
1.71.
plating, the very left one.
Sorry, I'm an EVE Online veteran. I always call it hull. You'd probably like that game.
Yeah, I think I
I've been playing.
I looked
for
into it
10
once, but it
years.
seemed
I have
like the,
150 million skill points. I can fly the largest ships. They have like Titan class ships. I'm in an alliance of like 5,000 people.
nice. I
We
hear
get
that
in these
every
giant space battles. It's pretty fun.
every now and then you hear about these major wars that take place in EVE Online, even outside, even if you don't play
Yep.
EVE Online, where it's like,
I'm
yeah,
in those wars.
this war cost this team approximately $5,000 if you were to break
Well,
it down.
yeah, I don't know. It's not really like that though. You can make all that money in game. It's not like it costs you real money.
Right, but
If you were to buy that money for real money, then it would, but nobody does.
it's just a
Almost
way
nobody.
to convey the seriousness of the battle
Right.
to people who don't
When
play
you
the
lose
game.
a big expensive ship, it does suck because it's pain in the butt to make another one. A Titan costs 100 billion credits. 1 month of game time costs 1.2 billion. You can actually pay for game time with in-game credits.
So if you play the game
If
a
you're
lot, you can
If
play
you
the
play
game
the game
more.
well enough, then you don't actually have to pay for it.
Interesting.
It's kind of cool, actually. I like that about it. And being that I'm a 10-year veteran of the game, like, I actually don't pay for it, and I haven't in years, so that makes me satisfied about it. But I used to pay while I became that powerful player, you know what I mean?
Seems like an interesting way to maintain the player base.
I think it keeps them loyal, because once you get powerful enough, you, like, you know, it's to your advantage to recruit your friends to play with you,
The thing is that, like, I go back to when I
because they make you
played
money.
MMORPGs, and I was like, man, really what I want is the PvP of when you have a bunch of
Yeah.
relatively well-balanced ships going at each other. Like, you know,
hmm
I don't want to be...
That's all I do is the PvP.
Yeah. But it was like I would play WoW and be like, man, this would be so much better
WoW sucks.
if you didn't have the whole player verse environment thing, because I would be like trying to play with my brother, and he'd always want to, you know, be gearing his characters so that it would be
Right.
strong for the raids. And I'm like,
There's players in Eve that do that too. I
yeah,
mean, there's definitely a strong PvE community. But then there's players like me that are in Goon Swarm, and we're like PvP only.
yeah,
Or some of people PvE, but we're good at PvP, and you can get a 250-man fleet and drop it on somebody else's face, and kill their Titan or something. It's the kind of game you can't. It's not like StarCraft. You can't get 15 minutes of quick PvP.
yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like,
You have to
well, but that's
commit
kind
for
of what I
like a
want,
couple
you know,
hours,
like,
go out on a roam with your ships,
yeah.
travel some distance, find an enemy fleet, fight it.
The farm differential here is really starting to widen. But a lot of that,
Interesting. Red is pulling ahead.
red is way far behind now. You look at the top, and red is down 1,200.
Red is the top.
Red is the bottom left. Blue is the top right.
Oh, in the player score box.
Yes, red is the bottom on the box.
Cool. Interesting.
But yeah,
Red might be making a comeback.
well, if they can pick something off, sure. But Loco is sitting here with 21 tentacles and 5 spells.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. And 9 armor.
Every time he frenzy corruption intercepts something, is everyone is in danger on the enemy team. And they do have 3 tanks again. This is the second game.
Is he not? Oh, he does have heal. It's intercept. Oh, that's where it makes you fast for a minute, right? Frenzy used to do that.
Frenzy also makes you faster. Let's see. Frenzy increases damage dealt by Leviathan by 100%, armor increased by 10, and the movement speed by 0.6. Lasts 18 seconds. Whereas interception is just movement speed, but it is more movement speed. It is increased by 1.5. So when you do
Quite
both,
a lot, actually, yeah.
when you do both, it's 2.1 move speed, which is fast. When you start out at 1.8 move speed, suddenly you have 4.0 move speed. You're moving twice as fast as an enemy ship.
Interesting. Red's making the move on one of the towers.
Well, they have to threaten it. They don't want...
Towers have a lot more damage now than they used to.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little different. They have detector status as well. And they also have scaling
Interesting.
armor and HP ups as the game time advances. So every 10 minutes it gains another armor and shield rating. But
So
the
he
damage...
just scanned so that they could see that guy coming out from the base, right?
Yep. So now they know
The orange
that,
guys are tournament winners?
well, there's
on the
kind of a
minimap?
mix of everyone here. So Loco, the Blue Leviathan, was, I believe, the captain of the team that won the tournament. But this is just a in-house. So these are all people that were just picked for this game.
So this is like the pros fighting the pros that I'm watching right here, which is why it's taken forever.
Yeah, that's what an in-house is. It's all regular players, and so you get a chance to see. Okay,
So I'm like a super green noob.
yeah, but
compared
this
to
is
most
this
of
is a
these
chance to
guys.
see what like the game should
Was meant
look
to be.
like, right? I mean, this is like more why you play for a lot of people. Like,
This is so much more fun than a normal StarCraft game, though.
yeah, because there's
I don't know what I
actual-
always loved about Star Battle. It's just the fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean,
It's that skill Moby Dick's using.
oh, Luigi is gonna get tentacles, all the tentacles, and a lance, but can he get out? I mean, Ghost has such good defensive matrix here. Yeah, man, Ghost
Front
saves
is
the
rocking.
day right there.
Oh, Luigi got saved, and we're gonna lose somebody.
Oh no, Moby
way
took
out,
some
probably.
beam from the mothership, but he's still
Oh,
fine.
QQQ might die.
No, QQQ is a dread, so he can push here without a... He's not really in danger until he's, unless he's out of range of Ghost. So long as Ghost is in range of someone, he can drop his defensive matrix on them and keep them alive.
Dreads, by the way, and Eve are the second largest ship. Or third largest ship, and they're really awesome. I have one. They kill Titans and other things. Well, if you have a bunch of them.
Nice.
Titans are really hard to kill. And they have a Doomsday weapon, which one click kills any ship except for another Titan. but it makes you immobile for 10 minutes.
That
So enemy fleet gets
having
called on your
something
ass.
last 10 minutes.
Holy
I'm
shit,
like,
that levy.
yep, he can just, whenever his frenzy is up, he can dive in on whoever he wants. And he has enough regeneration that he's probably going to be able to walk away from it without almost any risk at all.
Plus, Saranja is kind of rocking it with the shields.
Yep.
I think Moby Dick keeps launching. It's like in front of him. It's two. Is that
Which thing?
Thermal Lance, I think?
Yeah, Thermal Lance. So that deals 2,000 damage to massive targets, and so massive targets are the capital ships, you know, the carriers.
Short range, though, right?
Yeah. Its range is 9, so it's not that short of range. It's
only in front of you?
Yeah, it's only in front of you. And it takes 100 energy, and it's really good for dealing with enemy onboard fighters, but also good at dealing damage to ships when they're clumped up.
Those Sky Furies, for example, too.
Yep. But he might just let his particle disruptor deal with that stuff. His normal farming laser.
Looks like you ran into them.
Yep, that's basically what a Colossus does, because with Hardened Shield, he takes barely any damage from them. Like, the Colossus is really strong against those siege creeps like that. And so even though QQ was even though QQ is a little on fire here, he's really in like less danger than the Overlord, who just stalled. Wow. You don't want to stall with corruption on you. That's dangerous.
Guardian Shield protects people around you?
Yes. But it does not protect yourself, and that confuses some new players because it seems like something that should. Yeah, War is at level 30 interceptors and only level 11 scouts, probably because... And Sarah doesn't even have PDD, so I think it's kind of interesting that War doesn't have higher scouts, but maybe he's just thinking that eventually the scouts are going to taper off. But it's not like he's jumped into Tempests, which makes sense, because against the Colossus, I think the carrier has good reason not to really go into Tempests, because the Colossus should be able to kind of push out against the Tempest and deal with them reasonably well. So I guess...
What's the trick to keeping your fighters out and launched?
So you launch fighters with R, and then you retarget them. You can even see on the command card there's release interceptors if you click War Alistair.
T?
That's R to launch them, and then it's T to retarget them. So you launch them, they all come out, they start fighting, and then they kill some stuff and start coming back to you, and like, no, I want you to stay out there. So you click T, and it should show you the radius that you have at that point.
I see War's fighters are often stuff way far away.
Yeah, because the carrier basically just does not want to be close to the enemy team ever. Just about. It basically wants
Nobody uses laser carriers anymore?
Well, I want to say no, but there was a player in the tournament who did go a laser carrier, and
the laser carrier used to be really OP.
It's
you could use your fighters a little bit, then also upgrade your lasers and really tear shit up.
No, yeah, someone went lasers in the tournament, and they kind of did okay with it.
And like Vortex the enemy team.
Yep.
That's still a thing, right?
Vortex is, yeah, definitely still a thing. Generally you go up more when you have a frigate ready to drop a nuke, and Washburn does not have fusion yet, so there's not a huge incentive for War Alistair to pick up Vortex
now,
here.
I noticed you said a frigate drop a nuke. Nobody uses battlecruiser nukes?
People use battlecruiser nukes. Actually, they're really strong right now because they also blackout. But, you know, the range is so close. Oh, he wants to get on the Raven. Ghost can't use Matrix on himself, but he's too close to base to actually drop him.
He almost got killed, too.
Well, he was at half-life, but he was still close to Sarah. So long as he's close to Sarah, he's not going to go down. I mean, Sarah is only 3 spells.
They didn't want to have me in Leviathan was because somebody else wants to use it because it's a strong class, right?
Yeah. I mean, generally, the thing about Leviathan is that your build is going to be dependent on what you're in a side lane against. And so, first of all, they don't want a new player to be a side lane ship because the side lane ship is supposed to be the game winner.
And gets ganked.
Because as the side lane ship, you need to be you need to know when you can dive into the middle and try to get a kill, and so it requires a fair amount of kind of independent knowledge about the situation of the map, and so
Right.
it's generally better to have a more experienced side lane player.
I mean, this game is essentially a MOBA.
This game definitely is a MOBA. This is really probably at this point, is this the most popular StarCraft 2 MOBA? I know that there
I don't
used to
even know
be.
how popular is it.
Well, actually, I think popularity is
Oh,
always
Curtis
relative, right?
Saul.
And so I think right now this is on. It's in the top 2 pages at least. It might be in the top page of most popular
Used to
maps.
be the #1 when I first found it. It was like the most popular StarCraft 2 arcade mod. That was Zdo version 2, maybe 1.2 or 1.5 or 2 or something.
Yeah.
I think 2 came out while it was really popular.
Yep.
And they added the Overlord and they added
The
the
frigate.
Guardian or whatever that one's
Oh,
called.
yeah, the
that
Guardian,
Zerg
too.
one. And what else did they add?
Well, they kind of redefined the carrier, so there was that too. I mean, for a while there was like carrier with rockets, and so that
Yeah, it had rockets.
and feedback, if I remember right. Yeah, the carrier had rockets
Yep.
and
And
feedback.
the carrier was the feedback.
So yeah, carrier is way
Carrier
different
was
now.
really strong, and it had those scouts. Which scouts could farm and stayed alive a really long time. And they were bigger. They were really expensive to upgrade.
Yeah, DOR and it is enough damage output and sustain here that it's kind of hard for
DOR?
the Dreadnought, the Overlord, and the Raven. It just has enough sustain here that it's really hard for the blue team to kind of seal the deal on this win. They're up, 2,000 farms, so they are definitely in control here. And it's getting increasingly hard for the red team to prevent them from taking the towers. Like right now, QQQ is sieged up on the tower. Siege wants to protect the tower as well as he can. But it's going to be hard to do that at this point.
Oh, is that him under the tower? I see, you're right.
But
Gonna
wow,
die.
he's taking a lot of damage here. He's going to have to back off. Loco dived in on the carrier, but wasn't able to get a kill again. But it did mean the carrier couldn't just send his scouts wherever he wanted. War has now picked up Vortex. So I'm guessing we're going to see a Vortex here, but I'm still not sure what they can do with a Vortex. Wash still doesn't have his fusion torpedo.
QQQ is still being madly aggressive.
Yep, well, he's a Dreadnought with 7 armor, so long as he is next to a Raven to keep him up whenever he's locked down, he can maintain aggression pretty consistently. Oh man, those rockets hurt now. Luigi was like 1 rocket volley
Whose
away from
rockets?
death. Rar nukes, he has 22 upgrades on his rockets.
Washburn?
There's Washburn on the red team,
Oh,
and he
Rar
has
nuke,
17.
right. Those are some long-range rockets.
Yeah. 13 range, 214 damage rocket, 9 rockets, and he has rapid reload and ripwave. Those are some very dangerous rockets.
But rockets can't farm, right?
I mean, if they hit a ship with ripwave on, they can kind of splash onto creeps, but it's hard to do it consistently unless you're like hitting the enemy base.
So that ship build's kind of dependent
the
upon
Raven is
killing
going to
other
drop.
ships.
Yep.
Oh, nice. He's lanced him, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, that's right. That was the lance that capped off the Raven.
I'm getting the hang of this. Actually, spectating is good. Although I'm eager to play, too.
Definitely. I actually find spectating a lot more relaxing than playing, because when I'm playing, I'm like, fuck, I'm doing it wrong. I'm so bad at this
Shit,
game, oh
Loco's
god.
going mad right in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, now they're just diving in for the win here, because they have so much farm that, they're up 2 ships and 3,000 farm, so they can dive into the base.
Somehow you can just tank it.
Yeah, I mean the base once both towers die, if you click the mothership and look at the laser beam damage, it's in red, right? And so what happens is
Oh, interesting.
if you go into the top right and you click the beam damage there, it's 100 damage at 0.1 weapon speed, whereas when you go in the bottom left, it's 20 damage at 0.1 weapon speed. So the damage of the mothership is cut by 5 times. It's 1/5 the damage after both of the warp prism towers die.
Wow, they didn't lose a single player.
Yeah, that's actually the way a lot of games go. Is that
That was some pretty heroic ravening.
yeah, there was some really big saves in there. It just the once the snowball gets going, it can really take off.
Yep. Back to Titty Twister. Thanks
Yep.
for the